sometimes I'll forget, and then I'll have all that shit on there.
This is why you should have an automated backup routine. Um, I would suggest that you start compressing some of those files. Then
No, I don't know if I can. You know how
makes more sense if you just.
you know how long it would take for it to compress 2 terabytes of freaking memory, dude.
If Windows, Microsoft products are known, they're FAT 32 and NTFS and XT or exFAT, are well known for taking a lot longer because of small files. If you, let's say you had 10 small files all ending up as a gig, and you've got one large file ending up as a gig, it takes longer to do any file transaction, such as compression or copying, on the smaller files.
Okay, so I've got at least 3 that I know of, maybe 4 series that we've done that's already got over 130 freaking 15-minute videos.
Have you got an optical drive on your machine?
I don't even know.
A DVD burner or something?
Oh no, I'm
See, I was thinking of just using that as an archive mechanism.
no, I can't. I can't do that. I gave up the hard drives and stuff a long time ago.
Uh,
Mine's just a regular computer without any hard drives or floppy disks or anything of that
or
nature.
one inside.
I could get an external one and put it on there, but I still don't like the idea of using. I still don't like using the whole USB setup. I still think freaking USBs are ridiculous. The way they.
I don't know, I'm using USB over display port and power delivery on this machine. Um,
Well, I mean, they could do better. Is all I'm saying. I'm not saying that it's not a good idea. It's just USBs aren't really, because it's like you got the blue coloring and then the white coloring and the.
okay,
I, s-
yeah,
I, s-
the different versions.
I, I still don't know which ones. I know the blue ones are supposed to be the new version, isn't it?
Atypically USB 3 or above. Atypically, but that's not always a. I don't think it's actually a set ISO. Will
The white ones are. Now, which ones are the oldest? Is the USBs? Is it the white or the black ones?
again, I don't think there's any technical standard on this.
See, that's not
I think
helpful.
I've come across USB 1 and 1.1 drives, both black and white, or ports black and white.
See, that's not helpful at all, man. Thanks for nothing. Thank.
Sure. Um,
Just had to say it. Well, I mean, it's like with the freaking what do you call those little the pen drives? The majority of the time they come with the freaking black uh, coloring on it. So
go.
I've rarely ever seen any that have white on them. The USB thumb drives.
Okay, got to. Well, it just depends on the design. I mean, this one's black one, even though it's a USB 2 device.
And it's like freaking
Uh,
that's the one thing that always stuck out to me. Like I've never seen them have the white ones. Have you
mm,
got white adapter? I seen a blue one there. Has that got a blue?
yeah, it's got a blue center, but that's just an adapter. That's just an SD card to
Oh,
USB adapter.
you're all uppity up. Got the uppity up stuff.
Well, occasionally I need to play on SD cards. Um, very
Start
rarely these days, though.
start having you rummage through your drawers and stuff so you can show us all the stuff you got hidden around, like all 1984 shit. Back when you had your Commodore, or no, what's the English version of the stuff that you had? I keep forgetting it. The English computers.
Well, yeah, my own collection when I was a kid was a BBC B plus, and then I moved to an Amiga 500 plus in 1990.
Amiga, that was the one.
Yeah,
You're
Amiga.
that was the one. The weird part is, man, is I remember hearing about it, but I've never actually seen an Amiga.
Yeah, there's about what, four actually. In the domestic line, there's about three, maybe four machines, 500, 500 plus, 1200, 600, and of course it's Amiga CD, which was just a converted, I think 600 plus, but no keyboard. It was more of a console. It was shipped as a console. But in the commercial setting, there's about 5 separate business machines stretching from 1,000 to 4,000.
It's crazy. See, I remember whenever I was growing up, they had the Commodores, and then they had the what was the other ones?
Obviously, you would never have seen a BBC in the States, or very rarely. Also, you probably wouldn't have seen a Spectrum, Sinclair.
All I know about Spectrum is like now they're like an internet company here in the United States.
Different company.
Is it a different company?
Yeah, it's a totally different company.
I thought they were the same.
No.
Well, I sent out invites to anybody who wanted to come in. I've got it set up now to where we're on all the channels. I haven't checked Rumble yet, but I usually wait on that one because it takes it a while before it kicks in, so I just hold off on it. We're good on YouTube. And D Live is actually working today, so.
Wow. I'll remind you in 20 minutes' time.
Yeah, go back and check again. I can't believe they did that to me yesterday. So, this is basically going to be the last live stream that we're going to need for Live with Roger Hanson. And I wanted to.
Until when?
Next year. That's if I don't get utterly disgusted with live streaming and say screw it all.
I mean, like what, January?
Yeah, well,
7 months.
No, not January, because like I'm gonna do this in in increments is the word I'm looking for, because like now I don't know what's gonna happen with Minds Roundtable. You know what I mean? It's like I'm gonna leave that on your guys' plate. If you guys want to do it again, we can.
Bad mouthing Bill.
I'm getting kind of burned out on Minds Roundtable, to be honest with you. It's like freaking like Jeffy came on and wanted us to talk Minds business and shit. You know, I mean, come on, seriously, dude.
Actually, I had a message from Jeffy earlier this week, which I haven't replied to. Wanted me to aid him resolve some Linux technical issue. But I've just been so busy with other things, I've not replied to him yet.
Yeah.
But this weekend is a long weekend for me. It's a bank holiday Monday, summer holiday Monday. And so got plenty of time to reply to him over the weekend or something.
Okay, what's bank holiday? That's a English celebration, isn't it?
I think that's the last bank holiday before Christmas, as far as we're concerned. I think.
Well, what is a bank holiday? I mean, is that where all the banks take a holiday?
Yeah, where everything virtually shuts off.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I've never even realized you guys had something like that going on.
I'm not sure how many bank holidays we have in a year. May is always two. I'm not sure actually. How many bank holidays does UK have?
That is interesting.
UK.
I think the only thing we've got like that from here is um, Cinco de Mayo.
You get all these weird days. So you get President's Day and Martin Luther King Jr. Day and whatever day,
Well, I
Employers'
mean,
Rights Day.
so you're telling me those are like bank days with a disguised name on top of them?
Sort of.
So you guys don't even like having enough imagination to like give them a
Well, we don't
make
name
believe
them up
name.
because some of these are really old. England and Wales have 8 bank holidays per year. Scotland 9, and Northern Ireland 10. That's not including royal events such as coronations and jubilees.
Those are bank days too.
Yeah, when there's a coronation, it's a national holiday.
Okay, that's a trip. I did not. That's almost like a. That's kind of like a freaking Illuminati kind of
Uh,
shit. Like the
celebrates our traditions, so celebrates our
coronation of the royals.
yeah.
I told you about that one dude that freaking when I was living in Kansas City, he was from England, and
Yeah.
when he found out that Princess Diane freaking died, he was sitting in a bar, and I was sitting there drinking and eating pretzels and shit, and the dude sitting in the back of the room just bawling his head off like a baby, dude. I was like,
Okay.
shit.
Yeah.
It's like,
And all the insane all the insane sort of crying afterwards.
like it was on the news, and he just started busting out crying and tears and shit.
Yeah.
It was really crazy. And
This country went into a bit of an insane sort of situation just after that.
did you cry?
No. Funny enough, I've got to find it now. I've got to remember what it was. A couple of weeks ago, I created a post based upon in my music selection. Mine's music, Medwith's music selection. I've got to find it now. About I referenced David Essex version of what was the? Hang on, let me just find that.
You had a
Um,
brain.
I've got brain fart.
Had a brain fart.
Avita. Oh, what a circus! Oh, what a show! That one.
Vita.
Yeah. You remember
A
Avita,
v-
the musical,
no, I don't.
based upon Yvonne Perron's.
I remember that Latina song, Vita Loca.
No, this is based upon Yvonne Perron.
Okay, it's a musical. I'm gonna freaking.
Avita, yeah. Dave, back in 1978, David Essex actually made a sort of spin-off song
Okay, Vita.
criticising, yeah,
Okay.
criticising Perron and the mass hysteria that happened during Perron's funeral.
Okay. So that was Andrew Lloyd Webber,
Yeah, did the original music.
and the lyrics were Tim Rice,
Yeah,
and he
David
did it.
David Essex created a sort of parody of that song. It went into UK charts and actually won quite a large place. And but yeah, again, it was more of a criticism of the mass hysteria over evil Braun's death. And when I was creating this post a couple of weeks ago, my mind just went back to Diana, the death of Diana.
Oh wow! Now,
Because of the mass hysteria.
wasn't Juan Perón also like convicted down there of corruption and shit?
Oh no, she was.
No, her husband Juan
Oh,
Perón.
possibly. I can't remember the full history of that.
Well, actually, he was overthrown by his government. Now that I look at it, he was eventually overthrown in
Yeah,
1955.
and I've seen suggestions that the CIA or the US was involved in that at
Yeah.
that time, more than probable.
Okay. Yeah. This was the whole communist
Mm.
thing that was going on, I guess, during that time.
Into the Cold War then.
Yeah. Evita. She was an Argentine politician, activist,
Yeah.
actress, philanthropist who served as First Lady of Argentina. I find that pretty odd too, though, that they made such a big deal about Argentina, and it was also the place where all the Nazis fled to after World War II.
Some,
Yeah,
not all.
I still find it kind of odd, though. You know what I mean? Like of all the of all the countries for that kind of shit to happen, and it was Argentina.
Happened in the US, happened in
Yeah.
the Soviet Union. Allegedly, I've never seen any concrete evidence of that. It happened in the UK.
Well, yeah.
Again, I've never seen any evidence of the UK, but in the US, Von Braun, as an example.
Well, I get freaking mixed stories on freaking IKEA too. Like I hear some people say IKEA was actually using Nazi war criminals as slave labor.
War criminals.
Yeah, and then I'll have other people say no, that's not the story. Freaking the guy who started IKEA he actually supported the Nazis and then later denied it afterwards, like when he was older. You know what I mean? He's like, yes, I was young and naive. And he's like, but I no longer feel that way. So I get
Yeah.
like different stories about that.
Oh, reminds me of what's that clothing company, the fashion house company that created a lot of the Nazi uniforms, especially SS uniforms.
Oh God.
That is still going on now. That company's still very. Um,
I Farben.
no, it's one of the big sort of brand companies.
I know there was a few companies here in the United States that supported the Nazis, like DuPont. DuPont actually was trying to overthrow the government before the war
Yeah.
started. They got caught and then they got released. Like there was no charges brought against anybody that was involved in that.
Hugo Boss was one of the companies that, or the leadership were Nazi members.
Well, you've heard the story about IBM, don't you?
International Business Machine Corporation.
They actually they actually produced the freaking time clocks that the Jews had to check in and out of in the concentration
Okay.
camps when they went to work. They had to sign in and out with those time slips, and IBM was the one who was making them for them. I found that pretty interesting. I mean, this was during wartime that they were actually selling merchandise to freaking Nazi Germany.
Mm.
That was pretty trippy.
Got a few. I keep on coming up with Hugo Boss, but I'm thinking of another company. But yeah, Hugo Boss produced uniforms for the SS and the Hitler Youth.
Hugo Boss. Now, what company is that out of?
That's the big clothing and fragrance company, toiletry company.
German fashion company.
Is it still German now?
Yeah. It's a designer fashion company headquartered is in Matzingen, Baden-Württemberg, Germany. It
I
sells
thought it was bought by a US.
Hugo Boss is one of the largest German company
Okay.
brands
Yeah, yeah.
with a global sales of about funny symbol 4.3 billion
Mm.
in 2024. Its stock is a component of the MDAX, and company's fashion brands are Boss and Hugo. Yeah,
Mm.
that's yep.
So
Eyewear.
anybody, so PU, so fairly relatively cheap off the shelf suits and shirts and blazers and stuff.
Well, I've already told you about German stuff like their hard drives. Whenever I did check into doing all the hard drives, it seems like every freaking one of these companies that sell hard drives for computers are like crap hard drives.
Well, you did name a few companies, but most of these are made in Asia anyway. I don't think there was a German manufacturing plant of hard drives.
Yeah, it says here that the company for Hugo Boss was founded in 1924 in Germany by Hugo Fernando Boss and originally produced general purpose clothing. Now, in the early 1930s, Hugo Boss began to produce and supply military uniforms for the Nazi Germany government, resulting in a large boost in sales.
Hmm.
After World War II, and the founder's death in 1948, Hugo Boss started to turn its focus on men's suits. So it went from Nazi uniforms to men's suits. Thus,
I don't think I own a single Hugo Boss piece of clothing at all.
so th- so
No,
they
I don't think I have.
so they went from freaking the Nazis to the freaking stock market. There's the connection right there. We've gone down a really rotten path in the first 23 minutes of the stream, don't you think?
Indeed, indeed.
We've I kind of like this though because it's like freaking it. You know what? This screams out to me, man. When you brought up Hugo Boss, it's TJ Maxx. That is probably the most dirtiest freaking company on the face of this planet.
I've never actually been to TJ Maxx store.
How about a Marshalls? They're the ones who own TJ Maxx. Marshalls is the one I really should be saying.
Okay, that's an American. I don't think there is a Marshalls in the UK. Don't think they operate at all in the UK.
Do you guys have
Oh,
TJ
TJ
Maxx?
Maxx does.
Yep. So you guys have a little bit of the dirt under your fingernails too. Those people freaking literally create sweatshops in the Marshall Islands, and they produce products at really low prices, and then they ship them off to foreign countries, and then they everybody seems to make them out to be like they're such great people to work for, and they have all this quality merchandise and shit. And I'm like, dude, are you serious? These people are like the modern day Kmart.
Possibly even use people from India and China as well.
Yeah, because it's actually right there in the area. Because isn't the Marshall Islands right there around Taiwan and all that?
Yeah.
So yeah, they'd be shipping them in most likely. I ended up making a mistake in first year. I thought that like the Marshall Islands were still a protectorate of the United States, and I found out that they weren't. But the Marshall Islands were also a part of that big scandal that happened with the United States over at Bikini Island and all that.
Yeah.
So that was a real big disappointment. I freaking heard about Bikini Island. I thought it was like hot chicks in bikinis running on the beach. Come to find out, there was like mutant fish in the water, and people died there because of it.
Okay, I'm just looking at TJX Max website and the Global Social Compliance, plus a few other sites, and even though obviously TJ Maxx or TJX being the parent company is not going to mention it, but there seems like there's been allegations from like recent years about that company using contractors that employ forced labour or forced Uyghur labour.
Yeah, it wouldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would not. It would not surprise me. And that they're able to freaking just sell their merchandise all over the world. They get away with it, no problem. It's all these companies, it's rotten, horrible people.
Again, I would say allegedly because I'm just looking at the couple of sites here. I have to do some more homework on this subject.
I'm a little biased about them though because I used to know a few people, man, that used to work at the factories that got here over in Indiana, and it's just maybe about a 6 hour drive from here to where I'm talking about, Evansville, and they work there, and like these people, man, are so shifty about the way they do stuff. You know what I mean? Like, and Walmart's notorious too for stuff like they do because they talk about unions and shit like this. But what they don't bother to tell you is the fact that they ship the unions in from freaking other locations. You know what I'm saying? So instead of it being freaking formed by the locals, they have people that are a part of the union come in from freaking out of the area and freaking set it up in the factories instead.
Okay.
You know, I don't know if you know.
Was the lawless years, a 1950s American TV series that was talking about that sort of detective type thing that was looking at crime in the US during the 1920s and 30s. And there was, and obviously at the time there was a lot of, let's say, blackmail and criminal activities that were related to unions being forced upon companies.
Yeah. Yep. That's exactly what it was about.
And funny enough, there's a bill going through Parliament in the UK at this present moment that would force unions onto companies.
Well, that's kind of expected in England, though, because you guys are built up on stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, you're big on, like, the whole unionizing and workforces being regulated.
Mainly in the public sector, though.
You guys even
This bill, if enacted, and I've got to review this one because this has been going on for some time, and I think there's been a couple of readings since. But at the time, the bill suggested that unions would be able to force themselves onto private sector companies.
I think that's crazy. That's the kind of shit we were talking about last year when we were doing Roger's Real Time talk show about how they were trying to take over the freaking private sector. Like they didn't want anything being ran by private sector when it came to England at all.
And of course, it's being done under the Labour Party government because where does the Labour Party get their own a large amount of their own money from? For electioneering and stuff.
Well, dude, I mean, it's maybe been a year since we covered that, if that much. I mean, I know you didn't forget like the history stuff we went through with all that. I mean,
yeah, but we didn't look at it from a sort of modern perspective, did we?
Trust me, dude, it's still there. Okay, labor, I guarantee you it's still there.
Yeah, but during our talks, we didn't really look at it from a modern perspective.
I don't think Labor Party wants to freaking change when it comes to their views. Like, I mean, because they are hardcore socialists, dude. I mean, they really are. I mean, you're used to it because you're there in England. But
actually, I'm not used to it. Remember, once I was growing up, all I knew was, in reality, was Thatcherism. It wasn't until 1997 that we had a Labour government in my lifetime. Granted, arguably, I was born in 1976, so what was that? That was about 4 years under a Labour government anyway.
I mean, you've always had Labor around, even though they weren't a government. You know what I'm saying? You've always had them. It's not like they were just invisible.
But Labour, once upon a time, was there for the working person, for the upholding the rights of the working person.
That's code word for freaking socialism.
Not remember Scavato back in the 80s, and he fights for. I heard what you said.
Okay, just
I wanted to ignore it.
Yeah, I know you were. That's why I did that.
Yeah,
it's code word for socialism. It's like for the working person. Seriously, you know what I mean? Come on, dude. Freaking nobody has ever freaking been there for the working person.
Hey, Arthur, you remember the miners' strikes in the 80s? You must have seen reports of them.
How many mines have shut down in England, dude? All of them?
All apart from maybe one or two.
Yeah. Like here,
and they've become museums or something. I can think of one in Cornwall that is a museum. Is it Cornwall or is it Somerset?
The town that I live in right now is freaking actually a coal mining town. Okay, that's how it originally started. We had a coal miners freaking monument sitting up on Main Street, and they changed it. Okay, because they freaking made it all patriotic for veterans and shit, which is fine. That's cool. But it was a monument for freaking coal miners who died in the mines. You know what I'm saying? So they took and they decided that coal miners who died in mines weren't important. So they had to get rid of that because it was dirty. You know what I mean? Somehow it was dirty. And they needed to replace it with something that was honorable, you know?
Okay.
And this entire town was founded on the coal mines. You know what I mean? And now it's just a long lost memory that everybody thinks is a shameful thing. Oh, these coal mines are just destroying the environment. You know, just horrible shit. Yeah.
Have you got a museum or some plaque or something in your area?
Yeah, we've got a museum, but it's not like focused on the coal mines and stuff.
Okay.
It's not like their big goal. You know what I mean? But I did find that they could have at least done the Veterans Memorial somewhere else at a different location and kept the
Mm,
coal miners, because like people actually died in those mines. You know what I mean? It's
mm.
like, and it's,
That's part of your history, so yeah.
you know.
This is what annoyed me during the um, British version of Black Lives Matter, where we saw people attempting to deface or tear down statues that weren't
Yeah,
that that they questioned.
they did that here too. But you've heard my opinion on that shit. You know what I mean? It's like during the time that shit was going on, they were also talking about ISIS going into Nineveh and destroying freaking tablets and shit. Okay.
Mm,
And all of these archaeologists are freaking bitching and yelling, and all these freaking activists are like, oh, that's so horrible. They're destroying our freaking history. They're destroying our history. And then every time I got onto my freaking channels that I liked that was talking about ancient history, they wanted to make it some kind of freaking spin, you know, like a woke spin about,
mm,
you know, and finally I got sick of it and I just freaking said it in the comments. I was like, look, dude, you can't be sitting there freaking saying how horrible it is that ISIS is going in and destroying tablets and freaking Nineveh, and then saying that it's okay for freaking these people to be tearing down statues and shit and desecrating
mm.
freaking, you know, monuments and stuff. I was like, you can't have both. You know what I mean? That's one. It's the same thing. That's history. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Mm.
I that really annoyed me whenever I heard that shit. I agree. That's horrible shit. And like freaking, it's history that people need to respect. I am biased. You know how I am. I'm always I'm. It's all about history with me. I'm a, I'm an original geek. Like history, like history books. Like, you know what I did when I was ignoring my teacher in school?
Go on.
I do stick figures of cowboys and Indians, and
Okay.
when a cowboy was shooting at an Indian, I'd do little dots showing the bullet tracing where it went, and then like I'd do the same thing with the arrows, and I'd make little battles on my freaking paper. My teachers would always trip out when they seen that. They'd be like, "What the heck are you doing, Roger?" And I'm like, "I'm just doing a battle scene." Yeah,
Yeah.
like I was ignoring my teachers, but I was still doing something constructive, I guess. It had something to do with history. Well,
Yeah.
you've seen the old history books. Like it was always battle scenes in the pictures. You know what I'm saying? So I'm in history class. I see the freaking pictures, and what's the next logical thing to do?
Well, we were. I was especially was brought up with all those 1970s and 80s sort of mass sort of, especially 70s, mass sort of populated films, such
Mm-hmm.
as I don't know Zulu or the Rise and Fall of Rome. They're Alec Guinness.
I'll tell you
Um,
what,
they're-
I will never watch Ben Hur again, dude. I'm just, and nobody told me back when I was a teenager that like that was a freaking a gay movie. You know what I mean? That's what all the gay people watch. Like they like to watch her and freaking and movies like that shit. Like I was like, dude, are you serious? That's got Charlton Heston in it. You know what I
uh,
mean? Are you freaking kidding me? And they're like, no, dude, they used to watch that all the time. And I was like, seriously.
Funny enough, I rewatched Zulu. I watched Zulu Dawn. Zulu Dawn. No, I was serious. A couple of weeks ago, first time I've seen it in 3 decades. 2 decades.
Yeah, that was wasn't that when you and Mr. Robot was talking about it with me?
Possibly. Maybe. Um, Again, yeah, talking about the Michael Caine and who was it? No, Michael Caine and Stanley Baker, wasn't it? Richard Burton. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Freaking the Naguni. They spoke Naguni. Naguna
Yeah.
Gugu.
Well, no, there's
No,
was that
Aguna
the
Gu.
yeah, there were a few lines.
The
Yeah.
Naguni. That was where I first heard that freaking word, man. Um,
Mm.
and they came from the KwaZulu Natal. Yep, interesting story. I love that freaking whole thing because like freaking the movie was completely screwed up. You know what I mean? It was a huge battle. Don't get me wrong. You know what I
Mm.
mean? But like freaking the amount of Zulu that were there was way bigger than what they made it out to be. Like that was a freaking massacre. You know what I mean?
It was quite large because it wasn't just a single tribe, wasn't it? It was a
Right. It was an entire
yeah.
nation.
Mm.
It was an entire nation. Like they screwed that whole freaking movie up, man. That was well. I mean, not entirely. They kind of gave the whole sense that it was a big battle. Don't get me wrong.
It's based upon a true story. Apart from Sin and Man of Henlock, Henlock, yeah, which didn't happen. A lot of it is actually sort of accurate. Sort of accurate.
Right. Well, the thing of it is like Zulu. He freaking actually Shaka Zulu freaking he organized these people. Like they weren't just freaking barbarians standing out there freaking ready to charge. You know what I mean? They were very strategic. They were militarized. He even
Mm.
had conscription and shit where he was making them come in and fight. You know what I mean? They didn't have an option. They were conscripted into battle. You know, and only a standing army like freaking England and countries like that did that. Like, you know what I mean? But Zulu knew. He's like freaking. That's what he did. He did. He developed his own military system. And
England and mainly Wales. I'm not sure if there was any Scottish entities in there, but yeah, it was a Welsh battalion, wasn't it?
Mhm.
Yeah.
well, I, I still say that you guys you guys wouldn't have had any luck on that whole battle if it wasn't for the Boers. The Boers were the ones who won the day because they had freaking they had the freaking well, I guess you could say their experience. You know what I mean? They were rough and tumbling dudes. You English people were all soft and weary and shit.
I don't know. British discipline, the sort of
Yeah,
what's the role sort of strategy? When you place people behind each other, um,
it's
shoot
called
them.
it's called the Rose strategy.
Yeah, role strategy. But yeah, Britain, one of the most disciplined forces in the world.
That's the reason why
And
you guys would have lost. Okay,
yeah,
because the Boers knew better than that shit. They freaking
yeah, they used guerrilla tactics in a lot of their
yeah,
action.
yeah. Like you guys would have been standing out there in a line, and all these freaking Zulu tribes coming at you and shit. You know what I mean? So you kind of had to learn guerrilla warfare during that whole situation.
4,000 Zulus, or according to the film, anyway, 4,000 Zulus, and with 150 Brits stationed, 30 of whom were sick and wounded. 120 active.
You
4,000 compared versus, let's say, 150.
you know what the Zulu philosophy is, don't you?
Gone.
You're not gonna like it. It's Ubuntu.
Peaceful coexistence.
Ubuntu.
Yeah, which is a term for peaceful. I can't remember now what the term
I
actually.
know it has. I know it has something to do with sharing
Yeah.
what you have with other people and stuff. I know that much. I don't really encourage.
An ancient African word meaning humanity to others.
See, that was their philosophy, Ubuntu. So you got all these Zulu tribes running around using Linux. What do you think about that?
long before, long before Mark Shuttleworth was even alive.
Which, by the way, I did want to actually bring that up. Something the I said I didn't want to like talk about having talking points and stuff,
Mm.
but I did want to actually mention this thing about what Mr. Robot posted up in the Elements chat. Uh,
Which one?
the vibe coding.
Okay.
Do you remember that one?
Yeah. From all I hear about it, some sort of fashionable methodology.
Well, okay, like that caught my attention first, but then like Sam Altman, when he posted that thing about Sam Altman saying he's useless after he
As
went,
I've not seen that.
he's seen the new version of Chat GPT. Okay, uh, I think it's GPT-5. It's supposed to
Mm.
be the upcoming AI that's supposed to be coming out, and he said that
Or, yeah.
whenever he freaking checked it out, he felt useless. Like, you know what I mean? Now, something hits me wrong about freaking a lot of the stuff. Like, it to me, I was fine with like even Chat GPT. If you want to go in there and kind of get some feedback, get some help with like grammar and shit like that, I was cool with that. And then like they had freaking music. And even though I don't like how these people use AI for videos because they should edit, I was okay with that. But like
Mm.
when it comes to freaking having a program code for you, you know what I mean? Coding. I mean, I think that's just kind of like crossing the line, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Like, why
Mm.
even do it if you freaking don't have to do it? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I just found your comment. Yeah, you were going to talk about it last Friday, but because what happened last Friday. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
I mean, what do you think about that? Do you think it's actually cool or okay? I should say. You think it's actually okay for freaking AI to code for people rather than doing it yourself and learning how to code?
there's an argument. Well, the idea of open source principles is being able to share code.
Well, I mean that's fine.
So yeah, so you don't necessarily have to write your own code. You can just get off some sort of public forum. Anyway, um,
But still, at least you're learning it. You know what I'm saying? Like this isn't like on what I read so far about it, like you just give a description of what you want, and the AI pulls it all up and does it for you.
Yeah, but you still have to understand it. You still have to be able to review it, the code, and if necessary, bug test or tweak it for your needs.
Well, I mean, yeah, from what I
I
heard,
mean, I mean, I mean, I could be. Let's just argumentative sake, say that I couldn't read
uh
at all, and therefore I get somebody else to read me um, the material. Sure, I can get them to read the material, and I would understand it, but I would not be able to critique the structure, the grammar, the. If that makes sense.
well, I couldn't hear most of that because your microphone kind of
Okay.
buzzed out.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I could get some of those to read some material for me, but as far as understanding the syntax, the grammar, the sentence structure,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to make a judgment.
Well, I mean,
And same goes with.
if it goes for people who have reading problems, I understand that. You know what I mean? But like when you're, I don't know. I think actually having an AI do code for you is just kind of like crossing the line. You know what I mean? I've
But
had.
again, if you need to understand that code so you can modify it or review it for issues.
Well, that's where you learn. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the whole learning process.
Mm.
Like and like for me, it seems like freaking AI is making it to where that's gone now. You know what I mean?
You review your own material all the time, don't you?
Well, according to what it's saying on this stuff, though, it's like all you do is you freaking give it what you want, and it does the code. And then, like, if you don't like something, you request
Precisely.
you
Okay.
request that the AI freaking make the modifications. You know what I'm saying? And then it modifies it. You know,
So, but in a group of, let's say, a large group of developers who's all working on the same project,
bunch of lazy bastards. That's what it is.
yeah, you aren't going to, that's not going to be manageable. I know there is the old joke about developers not being able to document any of their work, which in some cases I know that's the truth. I know that's an issue. But let's say you work on a big project. Let's say you work on the Chromium browser or Firefox browser or LibreOffice or something. You're still going to need to document what you're doing.
I don't know. I haven't tried it. What it seems like to me is like freaking
And sorry,
you
another example. How many times whilst I was moderating the Minds Chat um, um, platform, how many times did I go into the official Canaries, the development sort of chat room and criticize um, Minds Inc. for not documenting certain functionality
you,
well?
you do that all the time. I think it's like a
Mm.
regular tradition of yours is to go in there and correct them on their bad documentation. So it's kind
Yeah,
of it's kind
possibly one reason why they stopped Minds
of
Chat.
I don't even think freaking they know how many times you've actually done that to them. You know what I mean? I couldn't tell you how many. So
But throughout my career, I've seen developers, I've seen companies release products or without any good documentation.
Yeah, I pulled it up on what Mr. Robot said. He said he noticed two interesting ideas that are going to evolve in parallel in the future of work. And he says one represents AI reasoning models that will utilize agentic workflows to iterate on how we have done science traditionally. And then he used an example for science, but that could be anything. And then he said, like Google's recent AI co-scientist, and the other one, a new kind of vibe worker in the future of work that is enabled by the a new set of tools.
I don't know. I see the entire five argument as just a bit of a fashion statement.
Yeah.
So, yeah, fashionable today, tomorrow's chip paper tomorrow.
Well, I think a lot of people have. Well, I kind of knew that this shit was going to take off because it was like I know I mentioned it quite a few times, but it's like back whenever freaking the Actors Guild did that freaking court thing for the voice actors in video games when the
Mm.
video games were still in their freaking voices. That was back in 2003, and me and Karma went over that. You know what I mean? And I even told her then when we did that on my gaming that that this is going to end up being big, like because we ended up getting that stuff first before anybody else started talking about it, from what I could see. And lo and behold, 2 years later, everything is about AI, AI this and AI
Uh,
that. You know what I mean?
Even though a lot of it was misappropriated, or a lot of it isn't artificial intelligence at all.
Right? A lot of it is misappropriated because it's still going on. You can't say it was because like now they're still doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's, um,
Hey, look at my latest database query. It's no artificial intelligence.
database query.
Yeah.
Phew, my goodness. Did people even use database queries anymore? Besides you?
Of course. Where do you think a lot of this I know, well, it goes back to my logic machine argument I made in chat a couple of weeks ago, last week, in relation to that. Well, things like LLMs are just looking at how words are structured and then creating a probability calculation to create an answer. So, just database queries at the end of the day.
Well, it gets a lot crazier too because like when he mentioned that co-scientist thing for Google,
Hmm.
this is supposed to be freaking an AI co-scientist that's supposed to assist scientists when they do their freaking work. You know,
Assist in what sense?
uh, like generating hypothesis and refining research proposals, stuff of that nature.
Hello.
Hello.
Um,
So I find that kind of interesting there. It just it really is odd. I I don't know. I just feel kind of uncomfortable with a lot of that.
Again, as you know, my sort of conclusions is that that a lot of what is being pushed as artificial intelligence at the moment is just a snake oil sales trick,
Oh
just
no.
marketing trick.
Oh no. Those are fighting words to tan, dude. Get them.
Snake oil salesman.
Yeah,
Yeah,
get them
I
tan.
heard, I heard snake oil.
Yeah, he said that people who do freaking coding are a bunch
I
of.
did not say that. I said a lot of how the term artificial intelligence is being used.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
That's what he
I
said.
didn't say coders, developers are snake oil salespeople, even though I do know of one or two that I could put into that box.
Actually, that's a good question for you, though. What I was just talking to Mark about, because I'm kind of curious. You're more into the coding side of things, Tan.
Mm.
Uh,
Ugh.
you remember when Robot posted that stuff earlier this month about freaking vibe coding?
Yeah. It's a thing.
Now, what do you feel about that? I'm cool with like AI doing music and stuff like that and videos and everything. But do you think it's okay, or do you think it's kind of like going over the line when you have AI actually doing the coding for you?
So there's the so okay. So this is how I feel about AI coding. The problem with some people using it right now is that people with no coding knowledge at all is using AI to create new apps that they're trying to make a quick bucks for, right?
Mhm.
Yeah,
And and initially the app might be good, but then if they run into problems, then they have no idea what's wrong and how to fix it. so uh,
exactly what I just
so
said.
okay, so it's yeah, it's not a tool for people with no programming knowledge to use. It's supposed to be an assistant, right? It's supposed to be a smart assistant for coders to help them build better code. So using AI to generate an app from scratch is totally a no-no in my book. But you can give it prompts to give you ideas on how to solve a specific coding problem that you can use to incorporate into your app is totally a legitimate use of AI. And also using it to do code review is also a good thing, right? You craft your code, create a Git pull request, and then AI will do can do the initial code review for you, suggest some styling change, the code optimization, things like that. Things that are already now being used by some code assistant
Yeah,
tools like um, ReSharper, JetBrains. Uh, JetBrains ReSharper is a really useful tool that people in the .NET world use for Visual Studio to help them write elegant code. It's just the same code, but the assistant will reformat it for you in a very elegant way so that the code looks a lot cleaner than the way you've written before, but it's equivalent, right? It's just much more concise, much easier to read. Actually, maybe sometimes it's harder to read because it's too concise, but okay, it suggests you that cleaner way of doing things. You can choose to take it or not. But yeah, so
yeah, but you still have to be able to review that code. You still have to be able to diagnose that code.
for
And
sure,
also,
yeah.
and as I was saying earlier, I don't know about you specifically, but I know of a lot of developers who cannot create documentation to save the backs.
Yeah, the documentations are
It's
like
extremely
something that's
fun.
outside of the code. We we
That's,
we
that's
we we,
extremely fun.
we prefer
Oh,
to
sorry.
write self-documenting code because if you write code documentation in English inside the code, you have additional maintenance of having to
Mm.
keep that documentation up to date when the code change.
Or
Yeah.
So
even external
comment can get the
documentation.
date. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. The
yeah.
external documentation is definitely useful, like a wiki that shows you how the architecture of how this piece of code fits
No,
into the product.
we've seen this especially with mines, where their external documentation has been,
Yep, way out of
yeah,
date. Yep, yep,
or less to say less than adequate.
Well,
yep, yep, yep.
whenever you put it in that way, I've even said that with like Chat GPT whenever it comes to like wanting to have better grammar or doing spell check and stuff like that with stuff you write. I'm okay with that. You know what I mean? Because
Mm.
Hmm.
it's actually useful, and it's like at least you're not having to pay hundreds and hundreds of bucks to freaking programs like Grammarly when you can have Chat GPT do it for free. So,
Hmm.
and then
Sure.
I understand that. And like with the
Fun,
with the code though, I mean the one thing that I always had an issue with that I think it could be useful for too is like outdated code. You know what I mean? Like if you're
Yeah, yeah.
if you're trying to use outdated code and freaking it's not working, then maybe the AI could say, look, that's not working.
Yep.
This instead.
Also, also dead code that are no longer used, and just sitting there.
uh,
Hmm.
I'm just remembering all the banks and financial services that are still using COBOL in a lot of their systems.
So,
Yeah, I wonder if
Um,
they have AI coding assistance for COBOL now.
that's very interesting. Yeah. Um, I was actually
I'll
having a
put a, I'll
conversation.
put a lot of mainframe programmers out of a job.
Yeah, I was having a conversation the other day with somebody, a lecturer actually, on for some college, and I was pointing out that uh, I've been in this sort of unique sort of situation where I always act as end user support in various guises, but been in that unique situation where I've had to review end users sort of reports and then explain it in a way that developers understand, and vice versa. Um, Review data points from developers, and then we refer that back to end users. So users with very minimal technical knowledge in the subject. So
Okay.
yeah,
Are you suggesting that AI could be used to write documentation from the code?
well, he thinks it's okay. He thinks a lot of this. He was actually agreeing with the benefits of AI before you got on here. Now,
well, within some respects.
yeah, he was actually. I mean, I'm the one that's being rebellious here, not Mark Edworthy this time. It's me doing it because I just it just feels wrong. You know what I mean? Like you're being dirty. You know what I'm saying? You know that dirty
Mm,
feeling when you know you've done something wrong.
it's you're from the perspective that I was talking about, where people trying to create a new app with no coding knowledge, right?
Right. And like
Mm.
doing that, you're dirty, or you just have that feeling like you're dirty. You should be learning it. You know what
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I mean? It's kind
Yeah.
of like it's, and I have the
I,
same.
I like I said, they're just going to create problems for themselves if they're trying to do code without coding knowledge.
Yeah.
Mm.
You know, I mean, they're gonna create headaches for themselves if they don't know they don't know how their app work. How do they know that the app is not trying to steal financial information from them when they're trying to monetize the app? So
and the whole term work is what's important. You know what I'm saying? It's like work. That's exactly what it's supposed to be. When an AI is doing everything for you, that's not work. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah. What
when you
about, well, along the same line, what do you think about AI creating music,
well,
generating new songs from
I
scratch?
I hate freaking the music guild, or what do they call that? The music guild thing. I hate them with a passion.
Right.
I hate copyright
Huge.
infringement. So
Mm-hmm.
if there's a way that you can actually get good music that you can put on your videos that isn't going to be hit by copyright infringement, I'm all for
Mm-hmm.
it. I'm all for it.
Doesn't matter where it's
Mm-hmm.
been made, how it's been made.
But the words have to actually make sense. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't just like randomly generate a song because they'll start talking.
I
Well,
don't
there,
know.
there
Have you got it?
there's some tools that people have been using to create really pretty good songs out of nothing.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, I posted one of them on my Minds channel. Uh,
But isn't
but
this
then
treating? Isn't
who
this just
owns the?
treating? No, I'm just going down on different points here. Isn't that just treating art as a commodity
Yeah,
rather than a piece of art?
a piece of meat, basically. Just they're nothing but a piece of meat that can be used and thrown
Right.
away. So that's basically
I
the
mean,
way I see it. That's how
Mm.
they've. And I mean, you also have to take into consideration these voices are being mixed together from different artists, like Mark's talking about too. So it's not like it's a freaking just a generated song with a different
somewhere.
voice. You know what I mean? Like they're taking other people's freaking content and blending it together.
Mm, is that true in all cases? I'm thinking of the
You know, the warehouse. No.
what I'm thinking of the Japanese sort of Miluka. That's animated computer animated sort of series that
Về về nhà anh trước hả?
Ria
Để
always
bỏ mấy
talks
đồ này
about.
lại hả?
Yeah.
But the thing that really gets me though is the whole thing about the whole science assist stuff. That did kind of stick out to me as being a little bit crazy. Like they have these AIs that it's called co-scientists is what it is, and
Co-scientist.
where they assist scientists while they do their research. It's bad enough they have scientific models. You know what I'm saying? Like now instead of them actually doing freaking the hard work of scientific research, they can put it in models and they can just do like quick, cheap, efficient science.
And let's talk about faulty models. Let's
Well, I
talk
mean,
about dare I say the pandemic? Dare I say global warming?
I'm just saying that it's bad enough they got that, but now they're going to throw freaking AI on top of it. You know what I mean? Like, sir,
Mm,
I mean, come on, dude. It's kind of crazy.
and again, these so-called artificial intelligence frameworks are created by humans in the first place.
Gay.
So obviously there is, well, um, irrelevant if it's created by humans or if the data sources are created by humans. There's still going to be some potential bias in the models.
I don't agree with scientific models. Period. at all. I don't think that they should be used because when I did the research into that shit, I don't like the idea that freaking all of their research is cheap and efficient. Okay, they want the lowest cost for their freaking experiments as well as it being fast. So they're taking all of these.
In some areas, that's a good thing, isn't it? In some
Not
areas.
not in scientific research, dude. It needs to be. They need to take time and effort into it. It doesn't matter how cheap freaking the experiment is. It needs to be done right. You know what I mean?
Okay.
If you're gonna have information, freaking have information that's freaking done right. But what
Yeah,
they
you can still do it quickly and efficiently and still do it in a sort of correct manner, methodology.
I mean, that's the methodology is fine if it's good, but when it's cheap and efficient, and then all they're doing is taking these cheap and efficient freaking experiments and putting it on a scientific model, you know what I mean?
Can you can can you guys still see me?
Not yet.
I can hear
You,
you.
you
But,
bounced in and then bounced back
clicking
out.
around.
Yeah.
I've never really been a fan of the whole scientific model approach. They should have stuck to the old fashioned way.
What's
Which
the
is,
old-fashioned way?
yeah, what's the alternative?
Where you did it freaking each person didn't freaking worry about how cheap the experiment was. They did it according to it
You
being
can
thorough.
create expensive modeling procedures.
I'm talking about the
Can,
experiment. Okay, the experiments
yeah.
are cheap and efficient in these models. They're all cheap and efficient, and they put them in with thousands of other experiments so that these models can come up with their freaking idea of how that experiment worked out.
Just because it's cheap and efficient doesn't necessarily mean that it's faulty.
Just means that it's cheap and efficient. And when I say efficient, what that means is they have to be fast. They can't be freaking slow.
Yeah, yeah, but
And
again, that methodology doesn't have to necessarily be faulty in its own right.
so you think that a world built on Frankenstein? Uh,
You're conflating my words now again.
you know, it's like freaking having like a Frankenstein approach to science is completely fine. We just do it all nice, cheap, and efficient. We can put antennas up on the roof and freaking let the electricity flow in and create our Frankenstein freaking experiment project.
Talking of experiments, and this office filled this glass. It's gone all over the place. Um,
Well, I mean,
uh,
my whole point though is like it was bad enough they did that, but then now all of a sudden they have like an assistant scientist or AI that's going to help them assist in their hypothesis and shit. It's
mm,
that's kind of that's kind of weird.
as an assistive tool, but of course that's information that's going to be reviewed by human beings.
Are you sure? Like
Well,
like
it should be.
right here with this freaking with this vibe coding. I've seen nothing that says that freaking any of this is actually looked at by anybody. It just says
Again, I think vibe, this vibe coding thing is a relatively new idea. I've only heard about it in the last couple of months.
I think it's
And
a broad term.
mhm.
I think
yeah, yeah,
it just means any kind of coding that you use AI assistant with.
okay. So it's very, again, and just another generalized, overly generalized term.
That actually is true. Did you? I forgot to mention that too because we, Dan. Did you hear or did you see that post that Robot posted about freaking Sam Altman?
I didn't notice you mentioned that.
What happened? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Sam Altman was able to freaking go in and
Suddenly, Roger's starting to sound very low.
very low. Let me check. Is that better? Is that better? I think he's losing me. Can you hear me, Mark?
Yeah, you're fine as far as I'm concerned.
See if
Yeah, I see. I can see Mr. Robert's comments.
now that was real weird because he turned around and Sam Altman freaking went and actually got to see the new Chat GPT-5 whenever they or before they put it out, and he straight up said that during that whole situation he felt like he was useless. It was literally freaking able to just do everything that he wanted him to do, and he just had to sit there.
My view on this is I didn't I see something from Musk I think about a week ago about that. He hasn't even realised the sort of potential that of GPT-5 or the next version of Grok or something. He's raised some concerns. But my main point is, sure, we can have all these frameworks, we can have all these programs, we can have all these forms of software. But if nobody's going to, if you're going to have a very sort of limited interest in them, then that's really matter.
But I wasn't able to go on and check out any of what he actually said in the freaking interview. He did a podcast appearance, and he basically compared it to the Manhattan Project, dude.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at the moment.
So
But
that was kind of interesting. Like that was an atomic bomb, dude. Freaking project. I mean, scientists came together to freaking create the freaking atomic bomb, and he's comparing it to that. You know, so
yeah, but again, if there's only a limit, actually, the thing I was thinking about wasn't just GTP. It was in relation to OpenAI, but again, this is down to sort of less than fair market. If you've only got handful of these frameworks out there, and people and a large amount of people are going to sort of ignore them or use them as sort of minor sort of accessibility frameworks.
And the people who are providing these AI coding assistant tools they're making good money. These tools are not free. They're not cheap.
Again, that's you could argue that could be related to a boom and bust sort of cycle. We do remember the computer games crash of 1982. Sure, it might be fashionable now, but in 10, 15, 20 years' time, if not sooner.
I know.
I don't know if it's the same comparison though. I think
Well, he's a
things
video.
are here to
He's a video.
these things are here to stay, and I can only see in the future these things will cost less to use because right now they're prohibitively expensive for a small software company to use. They're charging like $100 a month per user, right? So,
Yeah,
I mean, the
precisely.
people who come create these tools are making good money from them.
Again, you've got a handful of companies at the moment and providing third-party provisions. This is where sort of internal infrastructure, sort of open source LLMs are going to become interesting. But I can think of one or two projects at the moment where these LLM frameworks are created for internal networks and don't get access to external resources unless the system admin, the developer, decides to.
Well, I mean, you guys are also thinking on it on those levels, but I mean, like Code Project, they're putting out freaking tutorials teaching people how to create their own AI programs.
Yeah, precisely. That's what I mean. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm talking about sort of more. I won't say homemade sort of projects, but
Like,
projects specifically for specific niches that are being built for I don't know, internal purposes only.
no, I mean, if you want to go that route where you want to create your own AI program, then yeah, I'd be cool with AI in that sense. But I wouldn't suggest people freaking go out and just you know decide that they're gonna code with an AI program. That
I don't
especially
know. It goes back to my previous point when I started in the industry back in the mid 90s, early to mid 90s. There was a lot of emphasis on large companies having all the provisions in house. So, email distribution, internal databases, internal infrastructure. And now, within last, I don't know, 20 odd years, we've seen more and more people using third-party provisions.
I'm telling you, that stuff is getting all crazy. The way that things have changed, like we've actually, I can't tell you how many times we've all three of us have had that conversation about the cloud,
Mm.
and
That big
yeah,
fluffy thing in the sky.
yeah. And I still say, like, within the video game community, when it comes to freaking over there in Europe, like, there's going to be a big crackdown when it comes to the video game world in Europe because of the shit that I've seen with Activision and like all the regulations that you've been talking to me about they're trying to put in place over there. I mean, I know me and you don't really see eye to eye on that, but freaking, I still think that there's a lot of shit going to happen there. Like that over here they're calling it the Child Protection Act. They just call it
Okay.
that act. I forgot what they called it over there,
You're
but
talking about the Child Safety, the Online Safety Act,
yeah,
which was passed, which was enforced.
I guarantee you that you give it a year and bam, all of a sudden the video game industry is going to get hit with it. And every single one of those games are on the freaking cloud system that they've got and regulated.
Actually, when it comes to computer games, you've got the IFT regulations. Been
Oh,
around for, is it IFT?
Is Mark cutting
Something?
out on
IFT?
YouTube, Roger?
yeah, he's
Am I?
he's kind of cutting out. He keeps getting rowdy and moving his head too
By
much.
the, by the way, can you do a sound check on the stream to make sure the sound level is still good? A few
Yeah,
moments ago, I just noticed a drop in.
Yeah.
I had to bump up the volume.
yeah, I've been doing it every once in a while. After you said that my voice was getting kind of low, I went on to YouTube and Rumble and checked it out.
Okay,
By the way,
so
on the same point, I did reviewed some of yesterday's stream this morning, and that background noise was quite prominent.
I mean, the best I can say is like the cancellation on this thing is messing up here and there because, like right now, we're going straight through the Rumble Studios, and sometimes it doesn't do the background noise, and then sometimes it does. Like when I edit, I can actually hear what you're saying in the edits on the videos, and then sometimes I can't hear it. So it's a matter of if Rumble's actually freaking cutting that background noise out or not. Like with what we're doing right here, it has absolutely nothing to do with my OBS whatsoever. You know,
Well, don't do noise cancellation. Maybe Rumble's noise canceling is not working too well.
Not only that could be related to general bandwidth.
Well, I will say this: next year, when I do this again, I am going to be doing my review on Rumble. I've pretty much went through all of the freaking platforms now and did their little premium shit. I probably.
Oh, how's your premium thing going? By the way,
Well,
is it making any money?
It's not making any money at all. Well, just put it to you.
Oh, jeez.
It ended up being a Ponzi scam again. Well,
yeah.
You remember how John was talking about changing the goalposts when we were talking about mines?
Okay.
John?
With Rumble,
Same here.
With Rumble, they don't change the goalposts; they just leave information out. Okay. So they say, yes, you can earn money on Rumble now. All you have to do is have freaking premium. So you turn around and you buy premium, and then all of a sudden, well, you know, in order for you to
I didn't see it as being that, because you need you're limiting your audience a lot with your premium streams.
This is one reason why I don't ever post anything using Minds Plus, because I realize that's going to limit my audience.
But I do have to say one thing though. We went from like 225 followers all the way up to 410.
All
right.
So I mean that was a big deal there. It's just there's no money involved.
But was that due to premium, or was that just due to our wonderful candor?
I think it's actually the wonderful candor, because I think honestly this last year we've had freaking some awesome freaking streams, to be honest with you. Like we have this year was way better than last year. In my opinion, it was, and that was from the get go. Like mine's roundtable was just freaking amazing from the first show all the way up to the end. I was surprised that it even freaking ended as fast as it did. It felt like it went by quick. I mean, it really did. If you think about it, and we always had freaking conversations, and everything was just running smooth through it. And then Untethered, we did that one. Mark started getting all freaking wild, like a wild man. I was like so proud, dude. I was so proud of you. You were like busting into Mr. Robot like a wild man.
One point on the Minds Roundtable. This was when there was an active staff interest, and as we know now, half the staff have disappeared for new pastures, and
more than half.
Minds is now working on the sort of skeleton stuff, and the senior staff have in the last couple of months have just become extremely silent, extremely quiet.
Well, is that Roger's idea?
No, I told you guys.
They're sipping pina coladas in some Cayman Islands.
Something like that.
I was telling you guys all of this stuff. Remember back in the day, man. I was telling you guys. I was like, this is what they're going to do. Like they're going. They've given up on mines, is what it is. They've actually just given up on it.
I just saw a couple of days ago somebody was posting on mine a was it a it's not a GoFundMe thing, but it's like it might be an old campaign where Mines was soliciting investors.
Oh,
You're
shit.
talking about the 2017 investment.
Could be,
Potentially.
could be.
Yeah, the 2017 funding round. And I think there was another one, or there was talk of another one. 2021, 22.
Mhm.
Don't think it
Did you
actually
get in on
happened.
that?
I don't think it actually happened to Hon. But yeah, the 2017 investment with people like Mines Gaming actually invested.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so did
He actually told us he owns some shares.
mhm. He took his token.
Did he sell it?
He sold it. That's where he invested. I think he invested all of his mines tokens into Mint Me.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
yeah.
I'm not talking about tokens. He's actually bought some shares in the company.
Oh,
I don't think it was actually shares. There was no financial. It wasn't a financial instrument. As far as
Well, I thought he did.
maybe,
He did say that he owns shares in one of the chats we were at.
I
I
think
think it was in Roger's chat room.
yeah. Well, I've had him on there twice. He doesn't. He doesn't. Or he's not really much into getting onto other people's chats as much as.
To Matrix.
Yeah,
He just did a stream with Otto yesterday that I was watching.
well, they're
Also about AI.
yeah, they're all in the same crowd though. Like
Yeah.
if when you see Bob Dub and Otto and Minds Gaming all together, they're like
Mm.
one and the same. They're all in the same. They're cohorts.
Mm.
They're just hooligans that run around in the mines around causing trouble.
Yesterday was just Otto and him though.
Yeah, I could believe it. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, like they that's all they do is hang out with one another. They don't like being outside of their own group. You know what I mean? They're very very closed in. So
Mm.
getting
Right.
I don't know. Mines Gaming, when we were doing all the MCOSI stuff and all the mine support stuff, he was fairly active.
well
Yes.
that was back then. He's completely
Yeah.
different than what he was back then. I remembered him back then, dude. Like freaking. I was like freaking. I wanted for the longest time to freaking hook back up with him and talk to him. Remember?
Yeah.
So I mean, it was like completely different from what he used to be. Like back when he was really active and everything, he was always freaking there to help people out on mines, do what he could to help
Mm-hmm.
them, and like that shit with mines just completely turned him away from it. Like he doesn't really like. He likes hanging out with Otto. He'll hang out with Bob Dub within the vacuum. Satori D.
Yep.
Well, I don't totally blame him for that because I see him and he didn't gel well with certain senior mines management, senior mine staff. Yeah, you've seen some of the discussions I've had with Bill.
Yeah.
He was somewhat, let's just say, less careful about what he said.
Yeah, he kind of went off and started calling them bad names from what I've heard. Apparently, to the point where you can't talk to him no more.
That doesn't surprise me, actually.
So, yeah, I've
I'm not going into any conversations, but I remember me and Mike having a lot of interesting conversations about the senior management.
and I don't blame Mine's Gaming at all for it either, because it's like freaking like this whole thing with well, the first thing that caught my attention to it was when they were talking about how great it was going to be that they're putting everybody on the metaverse. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, are you fucking serious? Like, you're actually selling this shit.
It wasn't actually really metaphors, was there? There was to say
It was the pub, the
Fediverse.
The Fediverse.
Fediverse, yeah.
And that didn't really work out that well. I say that didn't work out that well. The perma-web project didn't work out that well. I know, talking to Ria, there's been some issues in to the replication on Minds.
Yeah. And I've been going into the freaking help and support chat, and I noticed Tan's been going in there too.
I've just been looking at it
pretty
once in
dead.
a blue moon.
Yeah, that's what I was getting ready to say.
I've noticed a lot of times when comments that should have come out of staff and questions aimed at staff members have never been replied to.
That's been months too, by the way. Like, this isn't like weeks. They haven't responded to people's questions for like almost 2-3 months now.
Yep.
And actually, I've still got GitLab tickets that are open.
Yep. Bashy's the only one that seems to be active on there.
Yeah, the last two token reward issues that I had, or I found, was never actually replied to by any of the staff. It was resolved within.
By Bashy.
And that's another thing. When Ben was working for Mind, we would have, these token reward deposits were an ongoing issue. Have been an ongoing issue for years now. When Ben was working for them, I would have a reply within 2 days. I'd be lucky to get a reply in 2 weeks.
Okay.
Moment.
Wow.
Not longer.
Is he like it now?
So is Steve still working for him?
Come again, guys.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Isn't that his name, Steve? He was working in the. You actually had him on an interview, wasn't that Ryan or something like that?
Ryan, yeah, the product manager.
Yeah, is he still working for him?
No, I gave you a list. I did some research a couple months ago, didn't I? And posted it in the general's chat room, where all these staff members have moved on to.
That's crazy.
Yep.
He's if I remember rightly, Ryan is working freelance, mainly doing audio, YouTube audio reviews or audio equipment reviews.
Okay, that's kind of cool, actually, because need to hook up with.
But you found Ryan somewhere else, Mark?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's always
YouTube?
been doing sort of audio equipment reviews, so reviews of headphones and reviews of
where on YouTube?
Audio equipment on YouTube, yeah. And I think he's ramped that up more now.
Freaking loser.
When was his last post?
Freaking
I don't know. I've not heard from him in.
You know.
Okay. I thought you said that he was still
I'm not
after.
a member of these. It's just videos I've come across in the past.
fucking loser, dude. Like he gave up his work and decided he's gonna be a freaking a beathead, dude, running around.
Hey, if that's making good money for him on YouTube, why not?
Yeah, yeah, why
Like
not?
the Mr. Beast, the future
Pathetic.
Mr. Beast.
Here's a good example of a post that has or a GitLab ticket that hasn't been replied to. You remember about 2, 3, we had several groups just disappear, including the MCOSI group, photography and art, and a few other groups have just sort of disappeared out of thin air. It was reported. I reported it about 2 weeks before Barshi actually created another ticket back in June, and on 21st of July, I asked about any updates, feedback, and
Nej,
that
nu är.
ticket. I asked for a staff member to provide further feedback and not an update, and that was over a month ago now. Yeah, over a month ago now, and that ticket's still open with no staff comments, and therefore those more free-for groups are still not accessible.
I've stopped bothering to log ticket because a couple of that I logged that done nothing with. So what's the point of logging issues if they're not gonna act on it? I'm not gonna
I would still
help them.
log them. I would still log them at least as there, and then if they don't answer, well, I didn't think about creating a public blog article on this one anyway, criticizing the staff.
I'm telling you, ain't nothing better than criticizing the staff. That's why I said that horrible stuff about Ryan being a loser and shit.
Why was one of the good ones?
He was, yeah.
He was actually one of the nice guys. You are right. Now that he's not a member of Minds.com, I can talk good stuff about him. I do have my standards though, it's like freaking I don't know. I mean, like I feel bad for those guys because like freaking, but at the same time it was like you knew it was coming, you know what I mean, or at least I did. It was like freaking they were trying to dump the website off into freaking basically the ghost, or into the graveyard. Basically that's what you do when you put shut into the Fediverse. That you're, instead of, you have one of two options. You can either freaking get rid of it altogether and be done with it, or you can put it in the Fediverse and just let it sit there.
But social media platforms are made and destroyed based on user numbers. User numbers are the sort of bread and butter. If you're going to go down that route, then you're going to lose users.
Well, I mean, okay. Now, the thing about that is it's like this. Okay, I mentioned like Rumble. Okay, yeah, cool. We've got like 400 people who are following us, but how many of those are actually bots? With all the people that I've had to mute,
how many of them are active users?
right?
Sure, I've got channels that YouTube channels that I follow, but I very rarely actually watch. I might have followed them because there was a couple interesting videos 6, 7, 8 months ago, and the rest that they produce is, well, not my interest.
Well, it's just like on Twitch right there. You see that message that we got on there from Twitch? It says from Teresa Smith. It says, "How are you doing?" And I said, "I'm fine. How are you?" Well, she didn't respond back. If that's actually this person in the Twitch chat. didn't respond back. You see what I mean? And there's a good chance that that's an actual bot trying to freaking get me to freaking buy subscribers.
No, it could have just been some individual.
You're so naive, dude.
It could be. Well,
why are you so positive?
I'm not going to discount it.
Like, you're so positive about shit. You know how many of these people freaking hit me up, especially on Rumble, dude.
And remember, what you call a bot, it could actually be a human being just typing in the same message.
It's like
50 times.
Yeah.
See that?
It's like, contact me if you want me to help you and assist you to where you can have more follows. Contact me on Fiverr, because Fiverr is where it's at. Yeah, you know.
Actually, recently I've been getting a lot of spam email from Indian marketers wanting to improve websites, stating things like, I see you've got this website, it looks good. Actually, on the website, it's a blank page.
All right.
It's just a hosting page. It looks good. Nothing on there.
That's exactly what they do to me, man. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, are you kidding me, dude? And it's like, it's the exact same message as what the last one did to me. You know, I've got, let me see in my notifications. Right now I've got one that straight out called itself Channel Booster 15. Okay.
Oh, what was the one last night that we saw? Shampoo Net or something?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, God. What was that? Yeah, it was shampoo something. That was funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, they had this one that I had. It was called Impactavision. And they spelled impact IMPAACT. And it was Impact Vision 53. So, you know, that they send this stuff all the time. So I really don't think that it's anybody who.
Oh, what was the one that's all on mine earlier? Went to a post that went into various groups and channel or various groups. Employment for UPS. From a channel that was nowhere near sort of UPS press standards.
Okay, so
yeah, that was funny.
That I don't really get very much stuff from UPS unless it's like fake emails in my email.
Okay.
They always try to tell me that I have a package that I need to pick up, and like if you click on it, it's like a spam message. It's not a good thing to do. So.
I've only had one experience with UPS, and that was when I bought something from Germany, and because of I thought I paid for everything at the time, but because of import taxes, they demanded even more money at the point of delivery. A delivery person would only accept me receiving the product if I gave him my card and paid even more money.
Yeah, so you gotta be careful about shit like that when they start talking that stuff.
But yeah, it was related to because I bought it from Germany and tax import duties and stuff.
You can't trust those Germans. and I do have good news too for you, but Dan, you there? I've got really good news for you if you're still on here. I he's trying to talk. I can see
Yes,
funny,
it's sort of.
I can see funny green stuff around his picture there. Well, I'll go ahead and tell you. After last night's show, me and Mark were talking, and we were talking about history, the history of Europe. And I've officially demoted France, and I've brought Canada above the French. So, in my book, the French are below Canadians.
In what respect?
Like they have more dignity and respect than what France does.
Okay. So it's like an international incident waiting to happen.
Well, I mean, you know how I feel about frickin' about England and how wretched all you guys,
Yeah, you love this country.
you know, and like Canada. I've always had like Canada's just weird. I mean, they're weirder than Australia, and Australia is pretty freaking weird. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So, and I'm well. Actually, that kind of makes me think too. Should I promote freaking Australia above France too? That's a real tough question because, like
Mm.
in Australia, they force their citizens to vote. That's pretty messed up. They don't do that to you guys, do they?
No.
When I heard that, that blew me out of the water. I couldn't believe that they actually force their citizens to vote or they get fined.
Yeah, but you don't actually have to vote for a party. You can just scribble anything on the ballot paper and then.
It's not. I mean, dude, that's not really cool to just say it like that. You know what I mean? Like you can. I mean, come on, dude. It's just because they don't vote for a party doesn't make it bad. You know what I mean? It's an individual vote.
Oh, they vote for a party, of course, like, but you can always mess up your paper.
No, you can't just mess your paper up, dude.
You can. You can. What's the standard form? Just put a line through all the boxes and writing the word "none" over it. That's the
I
standard
wonder.
sort of form.
I mean that they could probably get. So basically, I wonder if all they'd have to do is show up to the voting booth and put a mark on there.
Yeah, yeah.
That's actually a good. That's a good point.
Yeah, you can ruin your ballot paper.
Because I mean, you can show up to at least vote none of the above.
Mm.
But see, here in the United States, they got to be careful because, like, for me, I'm an independent voter, which means I can pretty much vote any way I want to. Okay. Now, if you're a party voter and you freaking decide to do that, your vote automatically goes to your party.
Uh,
So that's the one kind of corrupt kind of thing that I noticed that I didn't like too much. So even though you choose not to vote, your party still gets your vote, even though you don't go to the ballot.
mm.
So that's why I like being an independent voter because everybody says that you're wasting your vote. I don't see it that way. I see a lot of people who vote according to party lines wasting their votes. You know, because here in the United States, like the party that gets the most votes wins, and the rest of the votes are thrown away.
Yeah, and it's more of an issue because really the US is on a two-party state country.
I don't know why
Much
they
like
take.
Britain has traditionally been, or should I say, three parties state, but yeah, two parties in reality. But now, because of the sort of chaos that we were in, we've seen a lot more smaller parties being created.
It's gonna get even crazier.
Mm.
You're gonna see a whole bunch of them because parliaments used to have a whole bunch of different ones. From what I've seen, you had the Labor Party, but then you had the Independent Labor Party that was alongside of them. Then you had frickin' the Tories, the Whigs, um, and then the Liberals that combined to create the. No, it was the Liberal Party. You had the Liberals, the Whigs, and the
But,
Syndicalists.
but in reality, since the start of the 20th century, we've only had two and a half parties. I'd say half a party because I'm talking about the Lib Dems. But yeah, in reality, it would either be a Labour or Conservative parliament.
I've been kind of checking that out too. It is kind of like that, but one thing you keep underestimating too is you have smaller parties that support the bigger parties, and they kind of like sit off to the sides, and like if they freaking don't go according to party lines, then it can affect the bigger party. You know what I mean? So like you had the Independent Labor Party who supported the Labor Party, but when they went against them, freaking that affected the actual Labor Party. So
You're talking about the SDP, aren't you? You're talking about the
these
Social Democratic Party.
these were the ones. These were the ones that came out of the SDP. It was afterwards. But yeah, they're the basic people, but they changed their names to the Independent Labor Party, and I believe eventually they all kind of went into the Labor Party, but that was it. And I'm surprised you guys freaking actually lost your Liberal Party. That was weird.
The Liberal Democrats still there, but they've always been the sort of third party, the party with the useless party.
Well, I mean we don't use the word liberal and Democrat in the same words. You know,
Mind you, granted the Lib Dems joined the Conservative Party during the coalition of 2011.
now Dan said he has mic issues, so he had to head back out. Well, I mean, at least he heard the good news about all those cool, about me actually, like bringing up Canada's stature to where it's more prestigious. And I still personally think that freaking people from the Yukon are coming down and eating people in Saskatchewan.
Okay.
I really, because all those forest fires and everything are being done on purpose. Whatever's in those woods, they do not want it there. You know what I mean?
Are you sure it's just not a lot of this is just not natural fires?
Then they're stupid. So either I have to call Canadians stupid, or I have to call them freaking cannibals. It's one or the other. It's your choice. You tell me, what should I do? Cannibals or just stupid?
I doubt if there's very much cannibalism in Canada.
Have you heard the history?
I've heard again.
There's a lot of cannibalism in Canada, dude.
Based upon numbers, there's a very small element of cannibalism.
Are you serious? You know what the Wendigo is? You know why freaking...
So So, in your estimation, what percentage of Canadians have eaten human flesh?
I would say about 80%. At one point
Okay.
at one point in their life.
Okay.
I mean, you're not a Canadian if you haven't eaten human flesh, dude. That's just uncalled for. You know.
I'm not sure if that's accurate.
Well, I mean, it's yeah, I mean, shit, dude. And you know they can forgive Tan because he's technically a Vietnamese Canadian, so they can overlook that. But like, you know, freaking,
Okay.
you just can't let that stuff slide too much. You know, you gotta have standards when you live in Canada.
Next time you meet next time you actually meet a Canadian in real life, ask him.
Well, I mean, I don't want to do that because if I did that, then I might get punched in the face. I'm getting too old to take punches to the face. That was the reason. That was the reason why freaking
Fair enough.
That was the reason why I got nervous with Sonya. She kept threatening to punch me in the face when she got drunk, and I was like, "Shit, come on, girl." I finally told her the last time we talked. I was like, "Dude, that's not attractive at all. You can't be getting drunk and telling dudes you're gonna punch him in the face and shit." You know what I mean?
I don't know. For some looks, that might be fairly attractive. For some people, that might be an attractive thing.
Well, it was like I said, was it Wednesday to Nancy? I was like, there's just certain rules, and one of them is not the money maker. You know, you can't be punching freaking people in the money maker, and that's a no spot. So, but they didn't quite understand that whole concept, but it's like you can kick me in the nuts, okay? Just don't freaking punch me in the face.
Okay.
Well, don't kick me in the nuts either. I don't want any of that. You know what I mean? It's like I don't know what I was saying when I said that. That's just a no. But yeah, what was it? Since we were talking about that, did you see that one that Robot came out with about Roanoke colony mystery? He said that scientists finally solved the Roanoke colony mystery. You ever heard of the Roanoke?
Nope, and I can't remember reading that.
Yeah, he
When
posted.
you ever through about judging
Well, he went on like this crazy freaking tangent. And what it was is YouTube videos that he had posted where they said that the Roanoke colony mysteries was finally solved. It was a 400-year-old mystery that happened. Is an entire missing colony. Okay.
Okay.
And they just completely freaking went missing, disappeared. And it's baffled freaking historians for centuries. They have no idea what happened to it. Um, and basically, what they were settlers from England, and they came to the American soil, and they just ended up disappearing. Okay.
Okay.
And they've been wondering for freaking 400 years what happened to these people. So I haven't been able to get around to checking that out, but I'd really like to see if that's true or not. This is one of those issues that I was talking about when it comes to cannibals and shit. But Roanoke
Okay.
had believe is here in the United States. And it could be the fact that these are like people who come from England too. You know what I mean? Like those Indians up there probably like eating English people. And I've heard they've done it actually to Vikings too.
Okay.
Like there was an entire settlement that actually made it to the Americas before Columbus and all them. And they had a freaking camp set up and everything, and they just vanished. And the same shit happened on Iceland, I believe, where an entire
So you're putting it all down to cannibalism.
well, it has to be. What else could it be?
I don't know, lost at sea, being eaten by wolves, falling down a mine shaft. I don't know.
We're talking about entire freaking villages, dude, just vanishing. The villages are still there, but they're empty.
Some virus, some disease took over the population.
Bodies would be found, dude.
They all decided to pack up and
walk naked into the woods.
yeah, and to commune with nature.
Find a way to let everybody at least know that they've gone crazy. Maybe that would have been a good thing to do, you know. But I thought that was actually a good thing to bring up about the Roanoke colony thing, because we started talking about Canada, that was important. And don't get me wrong either. It was like one of those unbelievable tales channels on YouTube that he posted.
Okay.
You know, but they called it like the lost colony. That's how mysterious that was. And it was like over 150 settlers altogether.
Okay.
Yeah, and they just all of them came up missing.
What was were they looked for? Were they searched?
Well, they Roanoke colony. It was Croton Island. I don't know what it's called now. So I know. Have you ever heard of Sir Walter Raleigh?
Of course.
No, he was in. He's the one who founded it, and
Okay.
but he ended up going back to England after he founded it. Then after freaking that happened, they tried to do it again. There was 100 colonists, and that they were the ones who ended up freaking coming up missing.
Okay.
Now I don't know for sure if Roanoke was in England or in Canada, or if it was in the United States. But Roanoke, I believe, might have been here in the United States.
Okay, I'm just looking at just did a quick search for Proton Island, but newest thing I've got is a small island in just off the coast of Gujarat in India.
Oh no. Hold up, here it is. The Roanoke colonies. Here it is. The Roanoke colonies were an ambitious attempt by England's Sir Walter Raleigh to establish a permanent North American settlement with the purpose of harassing Spanish shipping mining for gold and silver.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Discovering a passage to the Pacific Ocean and Christianizing the Indians. After 3 voyages, the Enterprise ended in the mysterious disappearance of the lost colony. The first voyage to reconnaissance ventured left. See it? I don't even know what the hell that says now. Yeah, the map does. I don't even know what the hell that map is showing, to be honest with you. Like, it doesn't even show the name of towns or anything.
Okay.
It's one of those old freaking, those old mapping ones. If Mr. Robot was here, he'd know how to interpret it better than I do. But here, let me see if I can. I could probably share it with you. Can you see that?
Be better if it was the landscape. Okay, yeah, I can see it.
Okay. Can you see all that?
Yeah.
It's got all that weird shit on there. And it doesn't really tell you the location of... Oh, okay, here's the arrow right here. Sekatoic. That's actually up in Canada, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah. We have Seka.
Yeah.
Paquipi. Oh, wow. This is straight up freaking... Yeah. This is straight up Canadian crap, dude. Like, when you hear names like that, that's a definite giveaway. These kind of maps have always tripped me out. Every time I see those, I'm like, wow, that's just crazy. I still couldn't find the location. It didn't say specifically where it was in that whole area. So, is the trustees of the British Museum where they came from? That one. The first voyage, a reconnaissance venture led by Philip Amatus and Arthur Barlow, landed in 1584 on the Outer Banks of present-day North Carolina. Okay, so that's North Carolina.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would be why the map is so messed up, because the Carolinas are really, really messed up when it comes to their coastline.
I'm just trying to find a map. Okay, yeah.
That is a trip. I'll find out later on. I'm going to see if that's actually true. Because, as we both know, you've got to be careful with Mr. Robot. He's a little bit of a fibber. We'll just say that. We'll say Mr. Robot's a fibber.
I'm not sure about fibber.
Because he does believe a lot of the shit he says.
Yeah. At least not intentionally. Somebody, yeah. Let's just say he can be extremely open-minded.
You call it open-minded?
Well, I think that's probably the most politest way of saying that.
Well, I mean, he's weird. That's that's about.
That's coming from us. Sorry.
He's probably the only person that would not freaking agree with that statement. Okay, but Mr. Robot is the weirdest dude I freaking have met. All right, I've met some weird dudes, man. You know what I mean? Freaking, he is weird, but in a cool way. I love hanging out with him. You know what I mean? But like, freaking, he is weird as shit. He'll be going, "No, I'm not weird. What are you talking about?" And he would say it in an Australian accent.
Yeah, it's not him who's weird. It's everybody around him.
Yeah, freaking, but you got to be careful with a lot of these things when he does make these posts. Now that one is one that really caught my attention, and then he finally did another one where uh, uh, what was it? Americans' hidden secret history. So I went and I checked this one out, and lo and behold, it's another freaking video. You know what I mean? So he's running around like picking up all these videos rather than like actually like going and talking about stuff. He's just wanting to get real quick videos of stuff. This one was from Benevolently is what the name of the channel was, and it says the origins of the United States and the 4th of July celebration. And the
I didn't see that one.
And the intriguing secret untold history of the founding of America. And you know what? Huh?
What was the conclusions?
I didn't even watch it.
Okay.
You know, the reason why I never watched it is because everybody knows that if you're reading anything about American history, the first thing you have to understand is it's a lie. There's no truth to American history whatsoever. It's the first fact.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm very sure. If you're reading an American history book and it's telling you something, it is lying to you.
So 1776 never happened.
I'm not saying it didn't happen, but it didn't happen the way friggin' that book's telling you it happened.
Oh.
Okay. That's kind of like with everything here in the United States. Like they'll give you some of the facts, but they'll alter it. You know what I mean? Like this isn't how it really happened. This is how it happened, kind of shit. You know, it's kind of like that whole George Washington and the cherry tree thing. You know what I mean? They've tried to glorify the United States to the point where freaking people believe the bullshit. And if you go back and you look at the actual documentation, you'll find out that's not how it worked. You know, it's really crazy.
Of course, if you go down the the U.S. States education sort of route, history didn't exist before 1776. Nothing happened before 1776.
Well, you do realize like the colonies lasted longer than what we've actually been a country, right?
Yeah, of course.
You know, I mean, it's like freaking the United States is a blink of an eye when it comes to freaking the whole history of this area. Like, well, no, we're halfway there, I believe, because I believe we were a colony for 400 years, wasn't we?
Depends on that argument. Depends on which you're talking about. Viking inclusion. We're talking about what, 12th century, late Viking era.
Well,
11th century.
when England started sending everybody over to
Okay.
Rock and
So
all that good stuff. Like from that point, it was what, about 300-400 years.
I don't know. The US per se. Oh, what is now the Americas? Um, Caribbean, more like.
Actually, if you go that route, 13 colonies had been the
Yeah.
East Coast. So yeah, we this right here where I'm at would have been French territory,
Mhm.
and California would have been the Spaniards, which we don't want to talk about those Spaniards. We're boycotting Spaniards. It's like back in the 90s, people were boycotting freaking eating tuna because of catching the dolphins in the freaking nets.
Yeah.
Now we've progressed. Now we're boycotting Spaniards.
Because they eat dolphins.
No, because they're getting caught in the nets.
Yeah.
And they're getting caught in the nets. So it's like that's basically the way it works. Like the California, Arizona, and all that, and then Texas, of course, they actually were their own country before
Yeah.
they.
They've been controlled by 4 different nations. 5 different nations? 4 different nations? 5. 4. 4. Yeah.
You know that Mexico never recovered from freaking losing to Texas.
Recovered in what sense?
Their economy collapsed because they fought against Texas, and from that time forward, they've never been able to recover whatsoever.
Yeah, but that's not related to Texas per se. That's been related to ninjas in history. The French, include. Oh, actually, that was before Tech, wasn't it? That was the French access to Mexico and Spanish influence. But yeah, you've had various levels of corruption since then.
That's what Zorro was for, but nobody freaking, you know what I mean? Nobody ever freaking listened to Zorro. He was supposed to be the hero that was supposed to save Mexico and release them from the atrocities of the Spaniards' control over their government and the Catholic Church. I believe it was the Catholics. The Catholics were the ones that were being corrupted, weren't they? Or corrupting the government.
It was mainly more political than that, because beforehand, the French had influence in Spanish politics during the Napoleonic
Mm-hmm.
era.
Well, see, the thing of it is that the church had a lot of influence in Mexico during that time period, and that's kind of like what kept everything going, because like there was revolution in the air pretty much. Like everybody was wanting to start a revolution, and they because they knew like the whole situation with the Spanish and the French, but at the same time, freaking you had the Catholic Church there that was kind of keeping everything freaking together.
Mm.
And that kind of because they had like a power vacuum, and the Catholic Church actually profited quite a bit off of it. They ended up monopolizing a lot of the resources and shit, taking it back to Europe.
Mm.
So that is actually a good story. I got caught up in that because what really interested me about Mexico is after the Civil War, a lot of the Confederates decided they were going to go down to Mexico and create their own freaking government, their own freaking country. Bet you didn't know that, did you?
I know there was action just after the Civil War to make certain parts of the southern US go its own country.
Yeah.
That never really, that didn't work out at all.
That was called the Civil War.
Yeah, I mean, no, post-Civil War, where you had a lot of renegade or ex-Union soldiers just acting as renegades.
Yeah. Well, a lot of the Confederates, after the war was lost, they decided they were going to create their own militia and march down into Mexico, and they were just going to set up camp down there, and that didn't work out very well either. Well, that's what got me interested in that whole thing, is what I was getting ready to say. That and Jesse James. Like, a lot of people don't understand the whole history behind Jesse James and his whole dealings with the Confederacy too. Like when he ended up, because he was actually a part of Missouri's freaking Confederate Army, and they were so much of renegades that the Confederacy didn't even claim them. You know what I mean? So they when Jesse James actually when the war was over, Jesse James was still considered a freaking criminal because of the stuff that he committed during the war and afterwards. Okay. So that was actually a pretty interesting story. That's kind of how I got all interested in that whole line of history. But I try to stay away from a lot of this modern history. I'm not really cool with it. I don't like it. I want to go back to the ancient days, back when they freaking would skin people alive and put their skin up on the freaking walls of Nineveh to show people that this was the enemy and this is what we do to the enemy.
Stick people's heads on spikes.
Right. The good old days. Yeah. Babylon. Like, what people don't tell you about Babylon is like the coolest freaking shit. Okay, like with Babylon, what they would do is they would take the ruler of a city that they just conquered, and they would put a freaking chain around their neck and chain them to the freaking gates of Babylon, so that when people came in and out, this guy who was like the most powerfulest of this city would be standing there at the freaking gate as a prisoner, like a trophy. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Could you imagine that, dude? Being able to rule an entire city, and all of a sudden you're just freaking chained and put at the freaking gates of your enemy's city so that everybody can just go by and see you.
Yeah.
They didn't do that in London, did they? See, you guys didn't do cool stuff like that.
Send people to the tower.
With the tower.
Stick the heads on spikes.
Don't even make me go there. Don't make me talk about the tower, because freaking that. And then, you know what was the most sickest thing about England? Like, they didn't even have to do the tower thing. Like, every castle had these little freaking squared slots, okay? And if these royals and these freaking dukes and all them didn't like you, they'd just throw you in a fucking hole. They would literally just throw you in a hole. You would stay there. They wouldn't feed you. And you died. Like they've actually gone into these castles and cleared out freaking uh, pits of dead bodies where they just take and throw them down into a freaking a hole, and they died, and that was it.
Mm.
They didn't like you; they just throw you right there in that hole. That's evil as heck, dude. If you really stop and think about it.
Mm.
The only thing I think is worse than that is what the Greeks and the Phoenicians used to do. They had those bulls, and they would take and put people inside these bulls with a fire underneath it,
Okay, yeah.
and it would cause the bull to sound like it was breathing. That's evil, if you want to call it evil. But that's evil. That's pretty bad. You know what I'm saying? I think that's probably the worst out of all of them. And then the castles with the freaking the pits. I don't know history. That's the interesting stuff.
Well,
Like it's amazing. If people only understood that they don't need to watch TV, they could actually pick up a book and hear about this stuff and history books and stuff. You know,
mm.
it's pretty interesting. It's straight sci-fi shit right there. At least I think it is. You know,
Not
or
sure
not.
about science
Oh,
fiction.
not
Well,
sci-fi.
obviously not fiction. Yeah.
Yeah, not science fact. I wouldn't call it sci-fi either, because like I would call it more like well, just freaking ancient history.
Mm.
You know, wouldn't wouldn't put Ben Hur in it. You get all those gay people freaking watching it and shit. That it just that still sticks out to me. It's pretty horrible.
Funny enough, something that we were talking about a bit earlier got me looking at the Wikipedia page for El Cid, the film, 1961 film, and then the Ten Commandments,
Oh,
1956 film. Both just Charleston or Charlton Heston films.
I'll tell you something that tripped me out. I actually it was a Christian based uh, documentary, but he actually did one that was kind of fringe,
Mm.
and I watched it, and I was really amazed by it because freaking he was talking about, because you remember how Charlton Heston was. He was really Christian about a lot of things, but he got
Mm.
on here and he started talking about like ancient alien kind of shit. You know what I mean? And Jesus Christ, and like I'm like, oh my god, dude! Like,
Okay.
I've never heard, or I never heard him talk about that kind of stuff before. You know what I mean? And I seen that on a documentary, and I'm like, that's pretty strange because he usually doesn't do that, or he didn't do that.
Mm.
I'm pretty sure it was about ancient aliens or some shit, but it could have been something else. It's a while since I've seen it, but it was French, is what it basically was. It wasn't all about like Christian, the traditional Christian beliefs and stuff. Um,
Mm. Yeah, not familiar with Charlton Heston's religious standpoint.
did did you ever hear about the only movie that John Wayne played in that was never allowed to be aired public?
That rings a bell, but It rings a bell. Not sure where from, but carry on.
Hugh Hefner. No, not Hugh Hefner. Oh God, Howard Hughes.
Okay.
Howard Hughes paid for an entire production with John Wayne in it, where it was supposed to be the Middle East, kind of like a Ben-Hur movie.
Okay. Yeah.
And he wanted John Wayne to play in it. He did it, paid for the whole thing, and freaking it could not be played in movie theaters because Howard Hughes freaking had it for his own personal collection so that he could sit in his movie theater in his own house and watch it by himself. And it was like that way for like 20 or 30 years before they finally released it to the public.
Okay.
It was pretty interesting. Um, it was kind of like that style, back in the Middle East, back in the old days. But I thought that was a pretty interesting story.
Okay. I'm not familiar. I'd have to do some research on the one.
Mm-hmm. I can find out real quick.
Are we talking about The Conqueror? 1956 film directed by Dick Howe.
It could be The Conqueror. Conqueror. Let me see here. I can. Yep, that's it.
Okay.
That is it. He acts that movie right there was the one movie that freaking was never aired during that time period. It was after Howard Hughes had died. He freaking had it in his freaking collection, and nobody could watch it.
I think I may have seen it. Just know since release date 1956. Blah 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 blah.
Howard Hughes. Produced by the entrepreneur Howard Hughes, the film was principally shot near St. George, Utah.
No, this was released to the public in 1956. Where it grossed at the time was $11,000 in its first 6 days.
Actually, they're saying here on Wikipedia it was like rated one of the worst films of the 1950s. It was one of the worst films ever made.
Remember that John Wayne also acted as a Mongolian Mongolian soldier in another film. I can't remember which film it was.
Who, John Wayne?
Yeah.
I don't know. I know he was.
Unless this is the film I'm thinking of, could be.
This is the only one I know of. Now he could have been, but John Wayne. This was kind of weird for him whenever it comes to making movies like this. Like he did.
Was well known for U.S. American propaganda films.
Mm-hmm. He received the Golden Turkey Award.
Okay.
I don't know how much of that's actually believable.
Looking at the plot section of Wikipedia, of the Wikipedia page, I think I may have seen it. The plot section sort of does remind me of something.
Genghis Khan.
I'll have to hunt it down and rewatch it. No doubt I can find it on YouTube or something.
Okay, so he was supposed to be Genghis Khan.
So yeah, I think it is.
Temujin.
Yeah, I think it is the film I've seen before.
Jamuja. His blood brother Jamuja. Stopped at a traveling caravan escorting Bortai, the daughter of the Tartans. Leader Kumlek. Temujin leaves and tells Jamunja he intends to take Bortai for himself. that's that's interesting. Just reading that felt weird. I don't know if I want to do that ever again.
Hmm.
I'm telling you, like movies like that are like breeding grounds for homosexuals. Seriously, dude. Like just reading that made me feel weird. I was like, oh hell no, dude. I'd hate to freaking go and read the wiki for freaking Ben Hur, which I've never done before. So I probably
You got me thinking now. Just
like I didn't even freaking think about it till just now. Yeah.
59 film.
No, actually, this one.
We've got to commend Wikipedia on the write-ups on some of these films. Quite in depth.
I'm wondering if it's all generated too, though, because like YouTube, for a while I've thought that they like actually put like the bands actually put their music on it. Come to find out, YouTube generates the music for them instead of having them have to go on there and do it for them. They'll literally they'll generate the actual song onto YouTube. I don't know how they get away with it either, but I've figured that out where it's been generated for the band.
Okay.
Which I find that kind of weird. Like maybe they have the licensing to do that, because like if you want to get away with not worrying about copyright and stuff like that, the way you could do it is actually be licensed to be a what do they call that? Where you can buy and sell movies. You know what I'm saying?
I think I understand.
I forgot what they called it. So you're actually you're legally able to freaking broadcast a movie, no matter what it is, because you've paid for the permit to do it.
Or it was the copyright is expired.
No, I mean like there's retailers basically.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like if like TV stations, if they have rights to do the actual put the shows onto their freaking channel.
Much like our previous conversation about programs that were paid by the BBC and in effect the BBC license holders and taxpayers being broadcast later on, being sold off to companies like Netflix and Amazon.
Yeah. I think they did that to Thames too, didn't they? Over there in England. They sold them off to freaking different companies, I believe.
They've done that for a lot of things. A lot of your quiz shows, game shows came out of that sort of agreement. Things like The Price is Right, as an example.
Don't get me started on Three's Company, dude. Okay.
The Office being the better example of comedy that was sold, or comedy series that was sold from I think the BBC to
Well,
some American studio.
what was that English show that me and you talked about? That I mean, this would be a perfect example. It was the one where they worked in the freaking. It was like a mall in England, um, and freaking like you had the gay guy that was selling the freaking perfumes and shit, or the scarves, and then you had the two women that was selling freaking like the lingerie, and then you had that old guy that was the freaking boss, and he always had like the beautiful freaking secretary.
Oh, we talk about 1970s comedy.
Yeah, have you been served or some
Yeah,
shit?
yeah.
That one is a perfect example because like freaking they ended up selling their freaking the brand to a company in Australia because Australians had their version of it,
Mm.
and then like in order for you to see it here in England, freaking you had to freaking pay for it so that it could
Yeah.
be aired here.
Like I said, more recent examples would be something like The Office,
Yeah, which the
which I was never a big fan of the UK version, but I absolutely loathed the American version.
yeah,
Didn't hit right with me.
well, the English one is actually better,
Mm.
and another one that's actually pretty good too. Uh, what was it? Which I do think is good is Being Human. Have you seen that one?
No, I haven't actually. Been
Well,
really
it's
into that. No.
have you heard of it?
Yeah, I am aware of it. I was talking to somebody a couple of months ago about it. But yeah, no, it's not one I've seen.
It's well, that one's actually pretty interesting because it's like I can't tell which is better, the English version or the American version, because where one doesn't have good parts, the other one does. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm.
like the girl, she's supposed to be a ghost. And in the English version, people can see her,
Mm.
but in the American version, she's invisible for the longest time, and then finally, towards the end of the series, you could see her. You know what I mean? So it's kind of interesting how that one plays out. Like I can't tell which one's the better, but
I
like
mean, I'm just thinking of a failure. Another English British comedy that I wasn't a big fan of was the IT Crowd. It
oh
was shipped out to the US, and there was a pilot episode made, and that was it. There wasn't been much interest in the pilot episode, and it was shelved.
I loved IT, dude. I did.
Okay.
I love the
Wasn't a big
English.
fan of that.
I I love the English version.
Uh,
I think you're just resentful though. You kind of hit you
uh,
in your legs is what I did. That's because that's like hitting close to home for you, dude. That's
Granted, I've been in a lot of those dark, dingy sort of offices in the basement
yeah.
answering support calls.
I can understand why you don't like it, but that is a freaking great freaking show, dude. Like those guys are freaking the shit. Okay, especially that tall, skinny black guy. Like he's just freaking off the chain, dude.
Hmm.
But I don't think there's too many comedians that could freaking match him whatsoever. To be honest, he is hilarious.
I think he's still doing stand up now.
He
Last
probably
time I checked,
is.
I checked, I think just before the pandemic, and he was doing stand up then.
Like he's something else. I mean, I do have to freaking give him kudos. I love that show. To be honest with you, And I don't understand how it didn't work out here in the United States because like The Office sucked, just cut and dry. And the for that show not to make it here, but The Office made
Oh,
it.
the US office became sort of popular. Yeah,
Yeah, it came really
yeah.
because that's where they originally, or that's where they got the idea of doing shows like freaking what was it, Parks and Recreation.
Not familiar.
They had Parks and Recreation. They had other ones that came out during that time period too, and they were just basically they took the same kind of direction that they did with freaking The Office, and they just changed the whole storyline. Instead of it being in an office, it was for people who worked at the parks and
Yeah,
recreation.
yeah.
You know, so but yeah,
But yeah, you could see a real difference between US comedy sense of humor compared to British.
well, I thought the English version was better, but I really wasn't a big fan of either of them. You know what I mean? I don't know why I wasn't, but I really
Yeah.
didn't get into the whole office thing.
No, I didn't really.
But I do have to say, IT and Moon Boy, dude. I love Moon Boy.
Again, I'm not familiar.
Well, I know you're not much of a TV fan, so but Moon.
Well, I haven't owned a TV in good 20 odd years now.
That's about how long ago Moon Boy was out. So Moon Boy was cool because he started out as an elementary student. He was actually the first episode. He was leaving elementary school, going into like middle school. But I guess that's what I don't know if that's what you guys would call it over there because that's where it's at. But when he left elementary, freaking he had an imaginary friend. Okay, and it was a full grown guy, and it was his imaginary friend. And every time this dude came on there, he freaking acted like a freaking 10-year-old kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was just funny as shit. You know what I mean? So you seen this dude get on there, and he's a full grown adult. And he has the mentality of like a 10-year-old. You know what I mean? It's funny as shit. It really is.
Okay.
And I'm not for sure if it's in England or if it was in Ireland. It could have been an Ireland television series, but it
A
was
Republic of, yeah.
yeah, it was pretty funny. But those were my two favorite ones when it came from England. And then of course, Are You Being Served? That's without being said. I mean, if you're English and you didn't like that movie, then you're freaking messed up in the head. Or that TV show.
Yeah.
That show that was awesome. And Benny Hill, of course. Can't forget.
I was more of a fan of Hello Hello.
LOLO.
Yeah. Which was all about a comedy based on the French resistance during occupied no, World War Two.
Now, have you ever watched a movie called The Handyman? Movie. It was a series. 19. And
What era? What?
it was like in the 1970s.
Potentially, possibly.
Now there was a guy that did kind of like uh um kind of like a Benny Hill kind of TV well not really a TV um format, but it was kind of like a Benny Hill format.
Okay.
And he was basically a handyman. He would always go around freaking doing handyman work and shit. And he got
What was the actor?
Oh God, I forgot his name.
Rings a
He
bell.
he was actually the guy who wrote the stories, I believe. So I was just wondering if you ever.
If it's who I think it is, he was a really sort of popular TV comedian in the 70s. Well,
Yeah,
in Britain, anyway. Yeah.
he actually did this really controversial one back then about Cinderella,
Okay.
and that one actually hit pretty big. They actually did like an adult freaking play, and it hit big all over England, man. And it wasn't very well known, like worldwide or anything, but like in England, it was a big smash. People would go to watch it. Uh, Here, I went ahead and okay, it was called The Ups and Downs of a Handyman, also known as Confessions of a Handyman.
Sounds familiar.
The film follows a man who moves to the countryside and becomes a local handyman only to become entangled with the women of the village. John Seeley. It was directed by John Seeley and stars Barry Stokes.
Yeah, Sue Lloyd rings a bell. But all three names I'm looking at Bob Todd, Sue Lloyd, and Barry Stokes. Rings a bell.
Yeah, that was like classic English shit right there. It was interesting whenever I freaking got older and I seen that, and it's like they I mean, this guy had been around for for decades. Excuse me, but they had this one that came out, and it was called what is it? Are we done yet? You know what I mean?
Mm.
Um, and Ice Cube actually starred in that. Uh, you know, I believe it. I believe he did, and I think he actually had something to do with that. I'm not quite sure. At least I've heard people say that he had something to do with that one.
Yeah.
Uh, or and then they had another one said, "Are no, it was Are we there yet?" The one where I think it's the first one.
Mm.
You know that one where he had to take and drive the kids for his girlfriend from one location to the other.
If I seen it, would have been many years ago.
I don't know. I don't know if it's true or not. So I probably shouldn't be bringing up conjecture. Don't want to get in no trouble. So
You could well be correct there, but again, I can't really remember.
he would have been old as shit anyhow by that time, because this was like, are we there yet? That was like way back in the early freaking 2000s.
Okay, he wasn't acting at the Barry Stokes, according to this, year actor 1964 to 1985.
Yeah. Oh,
85 being the final film, Enemy Mine.
what really? Enemy Mine? I remember
Yeah,
that. That was the alien and the human stranded on the planet together, right?
American science fiction.
Yeah. That's cool to know. That's actually pretty cool to know.
Yeah, bipedal reptilian drugs.
Yep.
It's better than 2092. Like, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Could well be. Yeah.
They were both stranded on an island after their ships crashed, and instead of
I've seen it. I just looked at the poster image, and yeah, seen it a couple of times actually.
you know, it's pretty cool.
Mm.
Well, we've done the 3 hour thing, man. You want to go ahead and call it quits?
3 hour already. Time flies. We can do.
Get
Got
we
anything extra to add?
not I'm really we haven't had to add anything, to be honest. We've just been sitting here hanging out, having a good conversation, you know.
Mm.
So
Mm.
it's like, I mean, if it well, you know, first before we leave, I'd like to let everybody know that this is going to be our last stream for Live with Roger Hanson until next year, if we want to do it, because this shit just gets annoying after a while. I mean,
You love it.
we don't know for sure if we want to do it the following year until the following year comes and everybody's like, hey man, we need to do this again. So
Come January, February, you'll be jumping for a new series.
well, I mean, that's kind of what I'm getting at, you know what I mean? It's like freaking you don't really know until you know. So but it we will be coming back next year, definitely. It won't be this year.
Mm.
And we're still going to be doing on the ordinary streams, like we're still going to be doing Roger's real time talk show event, which is on the Praetorian for Rumble and on YouTube. If you guys want to check those out, we've got like 4 or 5 different new episodes there, and then I'm going to finish out the Wonderful World of Weirdness for the year. And I, Dragus Productions, Mark Witashik, is planning on starting up uh, Cafe Enigma in September. He's
Do
gonna.
you pay the fixings vote?
Well, I don't know about that. He said on Saturday. We're going to be doing it on Saturday. We haven't picked a time,
Okay.
and he wants me to do the show, so freaking we'll be doing that and everything. I just I don't want to get too much into these last 4 months because it's time to take a break. We don't want to get too burned out. You realize how much streaming me and you alone have done since January, Mark?
Several hours worth.
Several.
Several hours. Yeah.
You know, I think me and you personally have gone nonstop since the first of this year up until now.
Mm.
You know, last week I think was the only time we've actually. Well, we may have canceled one, maybe 2 times before.
Yeah, we have done a few times, not very often.
But I mean, we've gone nonstop for like 8 months, so this is a good time to take a pretty good break. I'm still debating on if I want to live stream at least one stream on the Wonderful World of Weirdness because Sonia keeps talking to me about her wanting to do a show, but then she never we never get into contact with one another either, you know. So that could be happening too. But other than that, I want to like have the regular streams where we talk about ordinary stuff. Be a break.
Unless we come up with another subject in between now and then.
Well, we can do interviews too.
Yeah.
Interviews are always open. If anybody wants an interview, freaking they want to do one, then we can do that too. I've always left that open. And then like even with Mind's Roundtable, Tan went over to freaking Japan, so I took a and did that on Mind's Roundtable because that was a pretty cool thing. Other than having DK on there, Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
Oh, Donkey Kong. So
I want to have a chat with you about my recent Teams conversation, but I'll leave that till after the stream.
okay.
Yeah, in relation to DK.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so with that being said, you want to tell everybody how they can get in touch with you, Mark?
Sure. Sure. Yeah. As usual, just on mine, or mainly on minds.com under the username Megletly.
Okay. And you can find me at minds.com as Roger_Hanson. I am going to be closing out live with Roger Hanson on Teams, but you can still find me there at Roger Hanson, as well as on uh, X, I believe. I guess I could say when it comes to socials, it's at ROGLOL1973. I usually don't go on there, but you can find me there if you want to leave a message for me there. Besides that, I stream on Rumble and YouTube at Live with Roger Hanson, and with YouTube, it's on my regular main account, which is Roger Hanson at Roger Hanson 2731. On D Live, I am Roger_Hanson, as in the same thing on Kick. Now with Twitch, I am Infamous 1969 or at Infamous 1969, whichever one. So you can find this on all of those channels, and I guess that's all I needed to say with all these finagling names and stuff. So other than that, if you guys like this stream, like, subscribe, share, make comments, leave comments down in the comment section. We'd love to hear what you have to say there. And thanks for watching, and we will talk to you later.